I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. The Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce is here to serve as a platform for enhancing business and community interests in our region. And most importantly, we are here as a resource for your business, providing education, advocacy, and connections. Before we start today, I want to take a moment to thank our doctors, nurses, first responders, and healthcare professionals out there helping others and saving lives. Now, let me start with our chamber announcements. Our website, oviedowintersprings.org, has our chamber resources on our COVID-19 tab. If you've missed any of our Zoom meetings, check them out along with our other resources. Our Facebook, OWS RCC discussion board, lets our members get to chat together and stay up to date. And also, we have our upcoming events. So tomorrow, April 30th at 12 noon, we have our Lunch and Learn with Jim Gordon with Beers and Gordon. We have Friday, May 1st, a 10:30 discussion with the president of the Florida Chamber of Commerce, Mark Wilson, on all current business topics. This is going to be very interesting with everything that is going on right now. We have Monday, May 4th at 11 a.m. a member chat. And on Tuesday, May 5th at noon, if you haven't heard of Giving Tuesday Now, check out that hashtag, Giving Tuesday Now. We also have 3 sponsors for today's meeting. Want to thank the following businesses. We have Arnie Lee Nussbaum, House NC of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. Arnie wishes everyone good health and blessings during this challenging time. We have Citizens Bank of Florida. If you're in the market for a new home, come in and talk with one of our experienced loan officers who can help you decide on how much you can afford and offer some very helpful mortgage advice. Citizens Bank of Florida is an equal housing lender. We also have UCF. UCF Continuing Education offers custom and online training programs that are high quality, convenient, and on target with today's unique workforce needs. Monthly executive education workshops deliver cutting-edge thinking from UCF faculty and leading industry experts to equip you with tools and techniques you can use immediately. On May 12th and 14th, the Change Management Workshop presents a dynamic model for implementing change focused on business and behavioral aspects of an organization. To register, visit ce.ucf.edu. And now, let me introduce Allison Walker-Torres with Spectrum News 13. She is the In Focus host and entertainment reporter. Being a specialist in entertainment with the In Focus show, she gets to discover all kinds of talented artists, performers, and musicians. Allison is inspired by countless numbers of compelling people she meets along the way. She's a pro at crafting a story with a script, visuals, and sound. She's a 3-time Emmy Award winner for her On the Town franchise and a 2-time Associated Press Award finalist. Even though Allison grew up in New England, she always felt like Central Florida was a Care Bear, palm trees, rainbows, and puppies kind of place. A dozen years later, she still feels the same way about the place she now calls home. When not covering artists, she spends her time traveling the nation and the world with her husband, Ted, an Elvis tribute artist. The beautiful Florida weather is great for a runner like Allison. Her morning jogs are reflection and prayer. You might spot her running around one of Central Florida's many lakes. Allison, you look stunning as always.
Animal print. Look at you, girl. You look gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me on. How are you?
I'm amazing. thing. So if you don't know how I reached out to Allison, and she is so busy, I reached out because you got to think out of the box. So I sent her a video because we even wanted to catch up doing a wine night. So I sent her a video of me having a glass of wine on my patio, social distancing, and I said, hey girl, when are we gonna catch up?
Clink, clink.
And
Like, why don't we have that right now? What is happening here?
I shorted a 10-second video to you, and you responded, and I loved it. I loved your response. It was so much fun.
Well, how can I not? And just your energy is so infectious, Bridget. And any excuse I have to have a conversation with you, and we're always ending in giggle fits, whatever we do. So again, thank you for reaching out. I know we're all just navigating this new dimension. I kind of feel like we're in a petri dish. You know, we're just some science experiments, and we're all just taking one step at a time, right?
It's tough. So let me explain to everyone how we got to know each other, because we've known each other for years. And I love that Arnie Lee Nussbaum is a sponsor today.
Shout out to you. Oh, one of my favorite people on the planet.
He actually introduced us.
Yep, sure did. You sure did.
I started the chamber in 2011, and we met probably first at Taste. Probably prior to Taste, setting up an interview that we always did. And, you know, we always had the On the Town segments. And I probably called you because Arnie connected us. I was like, please, Allison, I really need a segment. And probably Laura Richardson was probably part of that, because she does a lot with communications and helping connect people with PR. And she's done a great job with that. And she's worked with the chamber for a while. So tell us what you do and how your world has changed.
Sure. So ironically enough, one of our segments that we do, Bridget, which you mentioned, On the Town, that's very, doesn't seem fitting right now. Let's go on the town. You're not supposed to go on the town. We're not allowed to go on the town. So we've kept that franchise, as well as our Chef's Kitchens. And Chef's Kitchens, we're doing more of a best of right now. So we're replaying some of those and then updating it with their curbside procedures that they have in place now, and any specials they'll have. For On the Town, we're taking we're still literally on the town. So I'm here up in my office at home, but we are in the fields a good chunk of the day still, practicing, of course, the social distancing, but we're capturing those stories that are more, I'm going to say, harder news than we typically cover with On the Town, particularly with the economics of the tourism industry, the iDrive attractions, the mom and pop places, just looking ahead and strategizing right now. So we're talking with people who are 10,000 times smarter than I am about the hospitality industry in itself. So that's provided us with a lot of content moving forward, as we have to really be 2-3 steps ahead of this as journalists, because we need to know which story to tell, stories that aren't just character-driven stories, but stories that educate people in the sense of calm them and educate them as to what the rest of our community is doing to make sure we come out of this on top.
That's gotta be, and I think that anyone who's doing interviews, I know we're doing daily Zoom interviews, and we always have a challenge, which I'm sure you probably have that same type of challenge. What's next? And it's changing so quickly and so not unsure, but like it's just not, it's just quick. It's pivoting in a second. And you don't know, like we're so grateful to have the president of the Florida Chamber of Commerce on Friday. We're like, how amazing that it was this ideal timing that happened, because we have so much coming out right now, and it's just insane. I mean, it's wow. I can't even
And from what you just said there, Bridget, with how it's changing so rapidly and you have to pivot, for example, we interviewed last week the UCF, Rosen College Hospitality Management Dean Wong, and I wanted to know what's up with the theme parks. What would you do with your expertise of reopening? So he said just last week, I was planning it on airing it this Friday, and I have to make sure he still feels this way. He said, maybe 30% capacity at first. Maybe they'll have to, Disney maybe can open their retail first, then some of the restaurants, then some of the attractions. So he had a really cool idea. But then today, we're going to get more orders from the governor on the reopening orders stemming from the task force recommendations. So I don't know if Dr. Wong is going to stick with what he said last week with moving forward. So that's something, again, because sometimes we hold our interviews for a particular angle we're producing, but yeah, it's rapidly changing. The fact that we don't have data to fall back upon is what's so curious, to watch society try to come up with solutions without having that data, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you had a lot of free time during this, or are you just completely overwhelmed?
We have the same workload. So we're in one of the rare industries during this period where, yeah, we're full time. It's just a bit of a different environment where we don't drive with our photographers. We take extra precautions and this office instead of the newsroom, but it's interesting. There's kind of this stillness. I've noticed more of a stillness, I guess. In even getting the same amount of work done, you become more aware, and it's a stillness that I don't think we're used to, and we're not programmed to understand, because we've never really had this before. So I think with that free time, which I'm just still running and using that time to clear my head, but it's you want to try to be as productive as possible and fill that stillness with something that makes you feel like, okay, I didn't just waste this precious moment, right? So
I think I've done a little bit of each. I think that, you work so hard and you are so, there is that, as you hear the COVID overwhelm, you're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I just can't deal with it. So I've had some of my little Facebook moments. I don't know if you've had them. Like, I've been bored sometimes. Have you ever gotten bored?
So I was out on the back porch, and I was like, and Ted comes out, he's like, what are you looking at? I'm like, that tree is slanted. He's like, what? I said, that tree. He just turned around and walked away. So I just took a picture of that stupid tree up against the lake, because I'm now noticing, oh my gosh, it's slanted now. So now what's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years? So yes, I would never post about a tree being slanted out in the backyard. And I did do that. And I think we are entertaining ourselves in that way. Whether anyone finds that comical, it made me laugh because of my husband's reaction of, okay, she's done gone lost it. But that's what about you? What have you posted that you're like, wait, what did I do?
No, that moment that you just said right now is just so funny, because I had a moment where somebody was just saying, like, sometimes you just have to laugh. Like, you've kept it in so long that you just start laughing at the most ridiculous things. You're like, I need to laugh. Like, here it is. And it's like, I don't know what to call it, fairy tale land. Like, you should have been in a comedy show when this was happening. I don't know what it is. But I had enough time to realize what Facebook stories were. And
that's so funny you said that.
No, so I had a moment that I was on my patio and I tapped Facebook stories, and I took enough time to not just look like it, like 2 or 3 of them, which is usually like, okay, done. Like, it's done. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, these like just go on. and on and on. And I was like amazed. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, where do these, because I never really tapped into Facebook stories. I'm like, where do Facebook stories go? And I was like having this whole, I'm like, this is where they go and this is how it is. I was laughing my tail off to myself on my own patio, just amazed at what Facebook stories are and that I have never sat down to figure them out. And wow.
Loud. What happens to them when they expire? And how long are they there for?
I didn't even know where they went.
Okay, if someone knows who's watching, please help me. Please help Bridget, because they go and then you click on them and they only have so much time to play them. And I'm like, why can't you just post it on a news feed? And it's almost like something that you kind of want to put up on the internet, but you know it's going to go away, so it can be a little more, scandalous or more embarrassing or what have you. I don't know.
There's always just stuff. There's always just stuff going on, and I think it's just it's amazing when you have the time to think.
Yes.
And it's not just about business. Like there's a lot of people who say, think about your business. And I think about the chamber all the time. And I think about, I'm passionate about it. And just as you are with your stories, because I know how in depth you get about them. And let me tell you something. And I actually kind of want to get into this a little bit. Last time we were doing an interview for the Winter Springs Festival of the Arts. It was Ed Myers last year.
Yes.
He's a digital artist. And we had a minute to sit on the couch and talk. And I said, hey, do you have like 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. I said, I'm trying to inspire kids on how to get to, and I don't mean kids, I mean high schoolers, college students, how to get to where they need to go. And to be honest, I never actually officially put this footage out, but you had the best story on how you got to be a news broadcast journalist. Can you give us that story? Because it really took you 3.5 minutes of amazingness of this story. I mean, it was incredible that please go into this story of how you went in college and what happened, because this was not your degree. This is not what you were majoring in. Talk to us.
Yeah, Bridget. It was, I went to school for electrical engineering at Georgia Tech, and math and science, that was just my jam, that combo growing up. And so I went for electrical engineering, and the first year at Georgia Tech, doing all the calc classes and circuits classes and all these things, I'm like, this is a little more introverted than what I'm used to, or what I anticipated. And I went up to an ABC station up in New Hampshire. So I'm like, maybe I'll go back behind the scenes and become an audio engineer. I didn't even know what an audio engineer did. I just wanted to go to the TV station and thought that'd be a cool climate, a cool environment. So I got an internship there. And when I walked in, because I grew up in New Hampshire, I looked up into the studio, the newsroom. And as soon as I walked in, the lights, they turned the studio lights onto Jennifer Vaughn, who's the anchor that I watched my whole life. So as soon as those lights went on, I grew these imaginary horse blinders. And I said, I want to tell stories for a living. And I looked around, I'm like, what, am I still going to keep my internship? Because I didn't know I'm like storytelling. And from that point on, I ended up working at the cable network. I worked at CNN, intern at CNN all throughout college. And then I worked at the cable station at Georgia Tech. And just from that point on, I'm so lucky, I feel, with having those blinders on of this is what I'm going to do. And Georgia Tech, though, it's an engineering school, so they didn't have broadcasting, they didn't have journalism. So I'm like, we have to get creative here. So it's science, technology, and culture. That's my BS. And very eccentric
It's
way.
very, very eccentric, and you pit, like, again, I say this word pivot in a totally different way that I said it earlier, but it was so unique how you had such this major and you totally did not even go into anything like that, but you developed such an experience. And how did you get that experience?
Oh, by being yelled at a lot. I mean, I did not know the fundamentals of, say, something it's called a VOSOT. That's when you watch the news and you see video and then a soundbite. That's called a VOSOT. So after I left CNN, I worked for student news at CNN. So I was on at like 3 in the morning in Australia for like 2 minutes, intern type show. Then I went to the smallest market in the country in Laughlin, Nevada. And the tiny, tiny little newsroom, I didn't even know. So basically not knowing what a VOSOT is as a journalist is like going to a restaurant as a chef and not knowing what a French fry is. So I mean, it was just literally had to learn from on the job training, and thank goodness, it was right out of college and I had great mentors there, but it was, yeah, the fundamentals that I lacked, I had to pick those up real fast. But it also forced me to get, I kind of approached it with a very different approach, because no one else in the industry, not a lot of folks have that abstract of a path to becoming a journalist. So I'm just so happy that and this guy I was dating in college, he was like, what are you doing? I said, am I being interviewed or am I on a date? He says, why haven't you gone to the Georgia Tech Cable Network and knocked on their door? And I'm like, I don't know. I did. He broke up with me, but I still went and did that. And without this guy, he kind of looked like Danny Zuko in Grease. He was in that. He played it. So without that guy just giving me that nudge and goodbye, I was like, he helped me to, be in this business that I just adore to the moon and back.
And you work so hard at what you do, and you're so good at it. And I think that's one thing that, the ones who are good at it make it look so effortless. And I don't think that, I guess some people don't realize how much it takes behind the scenes. What kind of work does it take behind the scenes when you're really doing broadcast journalism? What do you do behind the scenes? Like, what is it that you're really doing behind the scenes? Because people don't know.
Absolutely. So networking is huge. And if Laura is on the call here, Laura, I don't know if you're here, but Laura Richardson has provided innumerable amount of stories. It's networking, it is research, but what's really curious about the behind the scenes aspect is, so basically we have my cameraman just left right before this because we're doing interviews. So we have one right after this, so that's why that's here. To do 10 seconds of what you see on TV, that could take from the setup to shooting with sometimes we use our cell phones now, we use GoPros. I mean, 10 seconds can take 40 minutes of shooting and incorporating different aspects. And that's something, we just don't go click, click, ready to record, and we're done. It's just, we retake things, we to get those nat sounds. So say if I'm writing on this pad here, we'll have to stop down and put the microphone there, set that up, do that purpose. Every single thing, I feel like a Foley artist at times is what I feel like, because every time the cup goes down, you have to reset the camera to make sure you get the cup going down. So I think a lot of folks, they just want good visuals, good storytelling, but they don't perhaps know without seeing it, I mean, these guys are photogs. I mean, come on. They are the rock stars and magicians, because with their editing, they really create something special.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I've been on so many interviews with you in the past almost 9 years now. And it's been like, I've seen your ears perk up when you've heard a noise and you're like, I've seen it. And you're like, I know. You're like, I want that. And everybody gets it. And you're like, with your craft, you know what you sense. It's almost like when somebody's in marketing, they kind of like see visuals and they're like, oh, I get it. Or it's something that you build over the years and the time, and you just learn it and you get it.
Yep.
And again, I love the comments in here. Laura's like, I'm here, and
oh, I can't see. Hey, girl.
Laura Richardson was one of the first ones who, with the Winter Springs Festival of the Arts, she worked with the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber and put that the artist interview together. And I was super new, and Laura was probably super frustrated with me. She's probably like, so I have to deal with Bridget. What? And so I thank you, Laura, for dealing with me, and and Laura and I have gotten so much closer, and Alice and I, we're all kind of deal in this you know, when you deal with interviews and you work with teams like this and you know the business after a while, it's so interesting to learn the inside of it and know it. And Allison has just been amazing at interviewing, and you're such a talent, Allison. I know I'm kind of talking you up right now, and
because the reason why you're talking up your pitches, because you get, when I say, Bridget, I need a human interest story. Remember that the woodworker, the digital arts, because you get that we need to have that character behind the message we're getting across, and we tell it through their lens. They don't want to see it told through me. They want to see it told through the character. And you are so good. You and Laura are exceptional at that, because that's the approach that works. So it's all you. I'm just here. You're the one who's seeing that before I see it. So that I appreciate. But thank you for your comments.
Every time I've been like, I got you. I figured it out. I'm like,
big time. I'm like, all right, I can count on you. All right, cool. Absolutely.
It's been amazing. Thank you for telling that story too. I do. I mean, there's just like this really. If I have a lot of friends, and I'm sure Allison, you've had a lot of friends. If I'm about to introduce a very special guest here, and I don't know about you, but if I was to ever have friends as this person, I would definitely want to have only vegetarian friends.
Wait, what? Hold on. I get a large. Bridget, what is happening? What are we looking at?
So we have a very special guest, and this special guest is from Green Acres Farms.
Is there a big piggy?
There's pork chop.
Oh my gosh. What a sweet little pumpkin you are. Oh, look at pork boy. Is he a boy?
Girl.
Pork chop. Honey, how did Pork Chop get to learn the Zoom technology here?
I don't know.
This Pork Chop, can you hear me? This is Allison. What's up, Buttercup? What are you doing? Obviously, there's something you need to contribute.
Yes, definitely. So we're gonna let Pork Chop come back a little bit later. We may have
like, what's next? Oh my gosh, she's hamming it up.
I apologize.
That is just an adorable. Beautiful.
She's literally smiling.
I know. Did you see that beautiful pig?
George Clooney has pigs in the house. Maybe we can have a domesticated pork chop.
You know, if I was to be a farm animal, I'd probably be a goat because those are like the most mischievous ones, you know?
They are. You have to choose your farm carefully.
Yep, right.
Yes. And then, yes.
Courtney says in the comments, pigs are very smart.
Let's see. My uncle, they had a little pig. They had a pig growing up, and yeah, they are. They're just they get domesticated just like cats and dogs. It's incredible. It's just the hygiene's a little different, little different in that front. But that was is pork chop gonna come back?
Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here.
That's okay, no problem. But maybe it's okay. She needs a break. I'll come back.
You let us know when pork chop wants to get interviewed, because
Oh, it says the host has disabled my video. Did pork chop break the camera? I mean, she's not that ugly. Look at that face.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home, which is hopefully pork chop. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. This little piggy went wee wee wee.
Do you know what that was called? That was called. Do you know how long ago that nurse's rhyme was from?
No, my parents used to do that with my little toes when I was a baby.
Me too. And
Yeah.
that song is back from like 1728.
Really? I haven't even thought about that in a while until just now. 17, what was it?
1728.
Wow. Oh, I'd love to know the story behind that too. That's incredible.
Yeah, actually, apparently it was a nurse's song. And
Wow.
I don't know, but do you know how many toes a pig has?
On the hoof thing? Let's look.
Yeah. Oh,
2? 3? Is there a thumb in the back? Maybe Melissa.
That would be a dew claw.
Say it again, Melissa.
A dew claw.
A dew claw. So what is its function in relation or in comparison to a human's thumb?
It helps with balance.
Okay.
But do you know what it takes to trim those hooves?
Girl.
It takes 3 people to flip this pig over and stand on top of her.
How do you trim? What apparatus do you use to trim a pig? Is there a special like pig toe trimming
trimmer.
thing?
You actually use a piece of an actual tool called a Dremel tool that someone would use for working to file down wood and metal and stuff like that.
That's hardcore.
She doesn't love her spa day, even though it makes her life a little easier.
So what is she eating right now?
Huh?
What is she eating right now?
Nothing.
Oh, she's just
Doing a little yawn.
a voiceover almost. Bridget, I think you should do a voiceover.
I can't. I started laughing so hard. I don't even know.
Oh my gosh. Look at her.
You're the professional interviewer, and I'm just the host right now.
He is. So I wonder, so pork chop, I'm curious to know how, Bridget and I were talking about the stillness and feeling the stillness that is our current dimension. Pork chop, what have you been doing with your brain during this time where you're just like, wow, I really have an extraordinary amount of time to fill?
A lot of naps. A lot of thinking about how to solve world hunger and world peace. And then some more naps. Deciding what I'm going to have for second dinner and third dinner.
What does she eat primarily?
She actually only gets a very small amount of pig feed. There's a pig feed you can get. She gets maybe 1 cup in the morning and 1 cup at night. She eats grass and weeds and stuff. And she gets vegetables as treats. Bless you.
And how old are you?
Huh?
How old is little pork chop?
She's 5.
Oh my God.
And they live to be about 30. So.
And what's her, wait, you said 30 years old. So what's her environment like? What is she, recreationally for pork chop pig. What does she dig? What does she dig doing?
Well, she actually lives in our house, so she spends a lot of time shoving us off our bean bags so she can get comfortable to watch TV. She spends most of her time sleeping, a little bit of time rooting in the ground, but not much. A significant amount of time trying to chase the chickens away from her feed when she's outside.
And Pork Chop lives at Green Acres Farms in Oviedo, correct?
Correct.
I love it. I love
What's
it.
what's the companionship that she has, Melissa? Any fellow pork choppers over there?
Nope. She's a family pet. So her companion is a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, nice.
And and just mom and dad Green Acres, and that is her. That is the extent of it. And other than that, she just tolerates the indoor cats, and she tolerates the other animals. But really, everybody knows she rules the roost. So they're living in Pork Chop's world.
That I don't think I've seen a smile on a pig this big before. It's just, oh gosh, this just totally enhanced my entire day. Pork chop. I want to hear her do something. I want to hear her make that noise that we're all hearing. Pork chop. I don't know.
All right, you ready? Watch.
Oh, I can't.
Melissa, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on. That was Pork Chop from Green Acres Farm Oviedo, and we got an Oviedo chicken.
Thank you all so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Have a good one.
You guys take care. Stay healthy.
Of course.
Bye.
Allison.
This is my husband. Sorry, real quick. This is my husband Ted taking pictures for Spectrum News 13. Our community relations manager. Just wanted.
Well, did you get pork chop in there?
Of course. Did you get pork chop? Here, let's get pork chop. Here, let's get a pork chop.
What do you want me to take a picture of? Like the screen? Here we go. Here.
Yeah. Make sure you get her.
Where's pork chop? Pork chop.
That's the sexy thin one.
1, 2, and 3. I'm in it too.
Oh, dear.
Well, thank you all so much. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Allison, so before I continue on, I do want to mention that we have an event that we may have coming up, and I want to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, talk to me.
It's regarding just talking and honoring our first responders and our healthcare workers, and we're hoping that we'd love to get you involved.
Oh,
so
just tell me, I'll be there.
Okay.
Tell me more about that.
That this is a huge time that everyone is just really, and there's such an outpouring. It's our whole community. And, I don't know if News 13 is about the whole first Tuesday now, but that's
attached to it. Tell me more about that.
So it's been so traditionally it's in November, December. It's Giving Tuesday now. Instead of just Giving Tuesday, they're doing Giving Tuesday now because of everything that's going on, and giving back to the community and helping out nonprofits at this time because everyone is struggling. And it's really important that we support, and not just our nonprofits, but Tuesday, and hashtag Giving Tuesday Now. And we actually have a hashtag Giving Tuesday Now Oviedo and hashtag Giving Tuesday Now OWS. Because we are really going to be pushing this to give to our community, give to our nonprofits. On that day, we're actually doing a special event on that day, a Zoom meeting at our chamber, which is Tuesday, May 5th at noon.
Yep.
Just to make sure that we're supporting our community and giving back and making sure that our nonprofits are on that, to let them know their needs, give the good stories of what they have been doing, and what our community has been doing. And it's really, there's so many unsung heroes out there that people don't know about, that we want to share the stories. We want to make sure there's a page already that's been created, that we want to make the Facebook page to make sure that those stories are being shared, those just what the needs of our community is being shared. The nonprofits need to know about it. It's a feel-good thing, and it's a giving thing. And as we all know, in this time, our community has stepped up like you would not believe. And we know that we are going to continue to support each other, and we'll be better through it all. We'll be stronger through it all, but not to say this is not going to be the hardest time we have ever seen.
And it's incredible to think that when we were ringing in 2020, you know, down that New Year's Eve, and we all, you know, you say it every year, I feel it this year. I feel it's going to be just a rock star year. The momentum that we had, you know, gosh, economically, everything was just felt good, right? And then for us to be delivered this once in a lifetime dimension is, yeah, it really does enhance our already heroes into a whole different plane, a whole different tier. And it makes us think more about them than maybe perhaps we thought before. And that's a beautiful thing to see. And I think they do feel really appreciated just with watching all the good deeds. You know, one of my neighbors, he's a Air Force reservist, and he got pizzas from Domino's and went to Target, went to Walmart, went to the sheriff's office, delivered those. And Auntie Anne's at Old Town's closed. So the manager's like, come on guys, they're not getting paid. No one's getting paid. They just baked 1,000 pretzels and did the same thing down in Osceola County. And that gesture, whether it's a doughy treat or what, speaks volumes. And it's been cool to tell their stories, yeah.
Let me ask you, before we let you go, because I know you have a million things going on,
all yours, girl.
Is there anything you want to share with our community?
So I feel at this moment that I don't know about you, Rich, but I feel like we're rounding that corner, right? And it's a glimmer of hope. It's like this sparkle that I can see coming back, because we're about to get some momentum. And just the thing that I would share is, you know, we'll still be doing these entertainment stories to help to bring some joy, celebrity interviews to see what they're doing and how their, you know, how their industry is changing, right? So just we're all doing this together, and I feel like we're all holding hands and taking one day at a time, because again, this has never happened before. But we've got this, and if we look ahead to the fall time, you know, I'm curious, Bridget, if we were to do this again in the fall, yeah, it'd be really curious to see where we now think we're going to be in the fall compared to where we actually are. But here at Spectrum News 13, I mean, we are 24/7, and we are not stopping. So I know a lot of you now are really depending on us because you just want the facts, like give it to me, right? So we're not going anywhere.
Well, Allison, thank you so much. Thank you, Spectrum News 13. And thank you. You know that we have Zoom meetings every day. Allison, is such a pleasure, and I cannot wait to have that night out where we hang out.
Where we can
not 6 feet apart. It'll be hopefully soon.
Absolutely. And we're gonna do it right, and we will clink with your red wine and my buttery Chardonnay. And Arnie can join us too, and Laura, and everybody watching.
That's right. All right. Have a great night.
You too. Ciao, everybody. Take good care.
You too. Bye.